Okay, I think we can get started. To begin, I'm very honored by all of your presence today. I'm particularly grateful that you have taken the time to join us. I know some of you mentioned in the chat that you're at work. It's okay. I'm happy that you've taken the time to join us. Your presence, um, helps me share the material so that I can understand it, as well as it's going to be a gift to other people. Okay. Um, so this is a sharing on a philosophy of root education. I like to call it the fundamentals of being human. Really, it is just a course, a journey with a roadmap to raise the inner level of awareness, our own awareness about ourselves, our awareness about other people. What for? In order to create peace and happiness. Okay, so let's begin with that definition. So this is a course, okay, to raise the level of inner awareness. Okay, the course to raise the level of inner awareness. What's the purpose? I like to generate the purpose to create peace, okay, health, and happiness. Okay. And I'm very grateful that you've taken your time to be here. And I'm also very grateful for your family members. Some of you have things to do, and family members have to take care of a lot of responsibilities so that you can be here. Okay. I'm very grateful to your friends and your family who have recommended you. Some of you have discovered the value of this material, and they have benefited from that. Some of them have experienced a certain transformation, real life quality transformation. Maybe their standard of living have improved. Maybe their level of happiness has improved. Some of them may have experienced peace. And as a result, they have invited you, referred you, connected you to this value education. And I'm grateful to them. So with that, it is this course, and I'm speaking not only to the people who are present here today, but I'm also speaking to those who are going to view this later. Maybe some of your friends and family who is going to refer you to this material, and you will be watching this. It's a recording, so I'm speaking to you as well. This course is about 21 sessions. I am mirroring the Vietnamese version of the course, which is being taught. That this is going to be, I'm going to try to mirror the, how do you say, the season 29 of the Vietnamese lesson. So if any of you who are studying the Vietnamese version, you can go back and look at the season 29. I will try to kind of mirror that, although it's not going to be an exact specific the same, okay? But so let's just jump into that. Okay, so we're here to try to create peace and happiness. All right, and this course has a roadmap, and that roadmap is designed to take you through step by step by step to uncover the different barriers inside you so that you can grow and become a bigger person. So let's start with this idea. Okay, so I'm going to draw, and if you have a chance to draw with me, that is a good idea as well. You will learn a lot if you can actually draw along. Okay, so I'm going to draw a representation of a person. Okay, now this person can represent us as a human being. This person is sitting inside a shell or a cocoon, so to speak. Okay, and this cocoon, let's say it has a lot of layers. The shell has many layers around it. I'm going to draw it with many different colors. This represents us, and for the most part, every one of us has some kind of layers or shell protecting us. And that's fine, okay? It's great to have protective layers around us. Now the different color. Okay. So it's different color. Let's do, how about another one? Okay. That may be enough. Okay. So this is little person represent us. Now this journey or this little course with a roadmap is designed to help us remove these barriers. Okay, all of these barriers, so that as a person, we are going to break through. Okay, we're going to break through out of these barriers. Arrows there, break through out of this barrier. And in the process, we become something bigger. Okay, so I'm going to draw a bigger person, bigger body, big arms and legs, belly button, big eyes, big mouth, nose, maybe even grow some hair and feather. Okay. And this process is called transformation. Okay, so we're in a little cocoon and we're going to go on a journey, a course with a roadmap to remove these barriers. Now, as a human being, we are meant to grow. Okay, we are meant to become bigger, to become more mature in body, in mind, and spirit. Right. However, we also have a bunch of barriers, a bunch of limitations. And these limitations are called, these limitations are called self-limiting, self-awareness. Okay, so take a moment and think about the kind of things you want in life. Most of us want some degree of happiness. Most of us want some degree of health. A lot of us want quality relationship. We want healthy finance, right? But for one reason or other, there are things that kind of limit us and preventing us from actually achieving what we really want in life. And they are awareness about ourselves that are limiting ourselves. That's why it's called self-limiting self-awareness. Okay, so let me repeat that. They are awareness about ourselves that are limiting our own growth. So they are self-limiting self-awareness. Okay, never mind the external circumstances. There are things out there in life that are, get in the way of us achieving what we want. But really, we can actually overcome a lot of things if we are able to remove these barriers to our own self-awareness. So what are these barriers to self-awareness? First of all, one of them is, big one, is called self-trivialization. Okay, a little hard to see. Let's see if I can. Trivialization. So, has there ever been a time when you wanted to do something? Maybe you set a goal. Maybe you want to possess something, but you held back because you thought that, you're just a normal person, an ordinary person. It is a sense of self-trivialization, meaning thinking of yourself as small, insignificant, not good enough. These are the awareness about ourselves that are actually preventing us from achieving and possessing the kind of reality and the kind of life that we want. Let's think about the successful people, the really rich people, the really famous people. They don't think themselves as ordinary people. They think themselves as great people, right? They don't have these barriers to self-awareness called self-trivialization. So in this process, we're going to learn to identify and remove some of these self-trivialization. Okay, the second one we're going to remove is it's called fear. Oh, here we go. Here's a big one. Fear of failure. Or, yeah, fear of failure. All right. Kind of hard to see, huh? Let me rewrite that clearly. Okay, fear of failure. So oftentimes, we may have an idea of what we want to become in life. We have an idea of what kind of things we want to own. But somehow we are afraid that by trying to go after it, we would fail. And maybe in the past we failed already, right? Some of us may have experienced some failure in the past, and that failure hurt us. Some of us, maybe the first time we try to learn to swim and we jump in the pool and we almost drown and died, almost died. And that fear of failure kind of stayed with us throughout life. And as a result, we are afraid to try. Okay, it is the fear of failure that often prevent us from achieving what we really, really want in life. Okay, so we'll through this process, we're going to remove that. The next one is called fear of criticism or judgment. Okay. Okay, fear of criticism or judgment. Once again, maybe you want to do something. You want to achieve something. You want to become somebody. But in the past, we may have attempted to try something and we were criticized for it. Maybe some of us have said, I want to start a business. But our parents or friends said, you know what, you're not good enough. I think you're going to fail. I think that's a bad idea. It is the fear of criticism that prevent us from trying again. Okay. And another one. Number 4. Lack of means. Okay. And while we're doing that, I'm going to write down number 5 too. And there's a reason for that. Lack of knowledge. Okay, so Maybe you want to start a business, but you look around and you say, oh, I don't have enough money to invest. That's lack of means. Maybe you want to go to college. Maybe you want to go to higher education, get a master's degree, get a PhD. But you think that you don't have enough money. Or you want to start a new project. You want to visit a new country, but you think, oh, I don't have the language of that country. In fact, it is not so much the lack of means or the lack of knowledge that is preventing us from doing and achieving what we want. It is the perception. Okay, so I'm going to put TION, perception of. It is the perception of lack of means and a perception of lack of knowledge. There are people who are born without arms and legs. There are people who are born without eyes and ears, yet they can achieve things that are much greater than we do. Because they don't perceive themselves as having lack of means or lack of knowledge. Yet ordinary people like ourselves, we perceive ourselves as not having enough means, not having enough knowledge that prevent us from breaking out of our shells and becoming a more mature and a stronger, bigger person, right? So, last one, important one, lack of future vision. This is a V. All right, so when we look at our life and we think about tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next month, do we see tomorrow looking the same as today? Or worse yet, do we see tomorrow, the next week, looking the same as yesterday and last week? And because our future vision is the same, there's nothing new, we never really grow to embody anything new, anything better. Okay, right? And in fact, oftentimes, it is the suffering in life that is holding us back, right? When we do something and we fail, we do something and somebody criticizes, and we pull back into our comfort zone, we pull back into this little shell. It is very safe, but as a result, we never quite grow, we never quite transform, and so we never really experience that which we really, really want, which I assume is health and happiness. And for many people, financial freedom. Okay, so as human beings, we are meant to grow. We are meant to get bigger. But usually it is the pain and the suffering that either prevent us from growing, or in some cases, the pain and suffering force us to grow. Has anybody here felt that as a result of some pain and suffering, you had to have grown? Yeah? Yeah. Sometimes the pain suffering will pull you back. Other time the pain and suffering or losses will force you to grow, and you learn something new and you become a bigger person. But instead of letting pain and suffering dictate how we grow, why not proactively break out of our shell? Instead of waiting around for external circumstances like pain and suffering and losses force us to transform, we can proactively break through. And why would we want to do that? Simply out of love. Love for ourselves, love for people around us, the love and the desire to have a better life. we can proactively break through these shells and become a bigger person. Okay, with bigger arm, bigger leg, then you can achieve more, you can have more capability to go out and get what you really want, which I assume to be health, happiness. Okay. So the goal of this 21-day journey is to help us remove this barrier and finally, let's use this one, finally get rid of these 6 limitations. Okay, this is a study of the way of being. This is a study of inner awareness. So as we go through step by step, I would try to raise your level of awareness about yourself, awareness about other people, awareness about the world around us in such a way that these 6 barriers are no longer barriers. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about that. Most of us, think about the time in your life when you had to have grown, you had to have matured. Think about that. Usually, it is a result of some external pressure, right? If external forces, if society force us to change and to grow, think of this shell as like a chicken at a farm, like an egg in a farm, or the chicken in a farm. When the farmer feed the chicken and force it to grow, then the chicken is meant to be served as food for the farmer. Think about that. In the past, each time that we are forced to grow, is it not because of external pressure? Something in society forced us to grow so that we had to adapt to society, right? We are essentially food for society. But on the other hand, if we are proactively willing to grow by breaking through these barriers ourselves, out of love for ourselves, out of love for our family, then essentially that is life. I think that is what human beings are meant to do. We are meant to take ownership of our life. So this journey, this process of removing this barrier is essentially a journey to take ownership of our own life. Yeah, ownership of our own life. Right? Because change from the outside in is food for society. Change from the inside out is taking ownership of your life. Okay. And so let me see if I can paint this picture for you. Consider this, okay, a roadmap. Okay. Roadmap for total transformation. Whereas previously, we allowed external forces, societal pressure, pain, loss, suffering to cause us to change. In fact, if pain and suffering was not bad enough to cause us to suffer, we had to wait until bigger pain, bigger losses to cause us to suffer. And if bigger pain and bigger losses was not enough to cause us to change, then massive pain or loss. Okay, that seemed to be the way that most human beings go about life. We wait until pain and suffering and great losses force us to change. But this roadmap for total transformation has a promise. It promised that within just 21 days, 21 weeks, okay, 21, gonna say sessions, okay, 21 a week. I can say week because we will do this once in a week, 21 weeks. Each time we spend maybe 2 to 3 hours. Okay, so we're looking at about, let's say total 60 hours. So you're going to spend about 60 hours if you're willing to go from the beginning to the end. It'll spread out 21 sessions. What you're going to get at the end is one transformed life. That is a promise. Whereas previously, most of us have spent years learning and growing, letting suffering and losses be our teacher. This 21-day session is going to promise to be your teacher so that after 60 hours, you will have experienced what it means to have a healthy, happy life. What do you think? Does that sound like something worth doing? Who here wants a healthy and happy life? Yeah? Can I get some feedback either in the chat or just, raise your voice? Who's here is interested in a healthy and happy life? Okay. Yeah.
It's me.
Who's here is willing? Yeah.
I want
Who's
to be
willing?
healthy and happy life.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah. Who's willing to invest 60 hours? Right? Instead of years, you can invest 60 hours. And what you're going to get at the end is one transformed life, a healthy and happy life. Okay? So now that we established that we want a healthy, happy life, let's set a few sort of groundworks for it. In order to best take advantage of this teaching, this study course, there is a concept that I want you guys to take to heart. You want to enjoy studying. Okay, enjoy studying. Make it part of your enjoyment. Okay. In order to fully benefit from this 60 hours of life-changing transformation, you want to start with an attitude of enjoyment. Be relaxed about learning. Okay. There are 3 ways of being. Okay, so I'm gonna share with 3 ways of being. Okay, when studying. When studying or learning. Okay. Number 1, let's do number 1, be at peace. Okay. Number 1, be at peace. Don't worry. Just be at peace. We'll go into detail what it means really later when it comes to talking about inner peace and serenity. But number 1, if you want to make the best use of the time, just be at peace. Okay. Number 2, be magnanimous. Okay, the word magna means great, big. Animus means spirit. To be magnanimous is to have a great spirit, meaning to be generous with yourself. Okay, be generous with yourself. If you don't understand this material right away, it's okay. Be generous with yourself. Be at peace. Okay. Be generous with your ability to learn. Be generous with your energy. Be tolerant with yourself. Don't pressure yourself. Don't try and remember everything. Okay, just be generous. Be magnanimous. We'll learn about magnanimity later. Next one is important as well. Number 3.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Yeah. I know the meaning of the second word in Vietnamese.
Bao dung. The
Bao
Vietnamese
dung.
word for it, it's bao dung. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I
we'll
thought
learn
magnanimic. This is a new word.
magnanimous. Magnanimous is the adjective. Magnanimity is the uh is the um is the noun. Okay. So let me just write that if you want. So magnanimity. That's the noun. Okay. Right there, magnanimity. The adjective is be magnanimous. Okay. So magna, great. Animus is spirit. Okay. Have a great spirit. Be generous. Okay, that's another one to be generous. And I will explain later what it really means to be magnanimous. Be generous. Okay, with yourself. Okay, so don't pressure yourself too much.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, so last one. Be
So
grateful.
there are some words with the same meanings.
Yeah,
Tolerance, uh, altruism, tolerance, bao dung.
you are going to learn the English word magnanimous or magnanimity or the Vietnamese word bao dung when we get to that part. Okay, so the last one is be grateful. Okay, being inner peace, be magnanimous, be grateful, turns out to be three very super high energy vibration when it comes to the way of being. If you can maintain a level of peace, magnanimous, and gratefulness within your person, within your being, while you're enjoying, then studying, then you're gonna experience the studying a lot more effectively. Okay. We'll go into details about that, but just kind of keep in mind these three energy. In fact, if you go through life and just learn to be at peace, to be magnanimous about yourself with other people, be grateful, be grateful for other people's presence in here. Be grateful for every question that somebody asks. I'm very happy each time somebody raised their hand and offer a question, because as they offer a question, other people will learn from the questioning. Okay, the answer will come to them. So be grateful for the sages, the teachers who have come before us. I'm just passing along, but I'm very grateful that many smart and wise people have compiled this knowledge into a package that I can give to you in just 21 days. So hold on to the energy of gratitude. Okay, be grateful. And so that you enjoy learning. Within this with this study, you can relax, you can take note if you want to. I recommend that if you are serious, you want to enjoy transformation and you really make a change in your life, take note, pay attention. If you just here because you're curious, then you can just listen. Cam on, cam off is fine too, but if your cam is on, then I can see you and I can interact with you, then that will help enhance your learning. Not only that, your cam on is a gift of your appearance for other people. And in subsequent session, you will learn how giving people the gift of your appearance is a powerful, powerful way to transform your own life. Okay, there's 7 great givings of life. One of them is the gift of your appearance, gift of your face, gift of your smile. Your presence is a powerful way to actually transform your life. Okay, just so you know, this session will be recorded and it will be posted on YouTube, on social media. So your face will be on the internet. Okay, so if you're not comfortable, you don't have to put the cam on, but I do recommend that you try and see if you can break out of some of these barriers. Okay, maybe it's self-trivialization, maybe fear of criticism and judgment, and allow yourself to be on the camera. Okay, so that's enjoy learning. Anybody have a question so far before we move on to the actual material? Once again, I am very grateful for those of you who have turned on your camera. Okay, so let's jump right in. I appreciate the Dung and the Thuy Trang, and for all of you who are typing into the chat. That is very helpful for other people to learn. Okay, I so happy you have great assistant in the class this time around. Okay, so
Thank you.
to begin this whole, Mary Ann, did you have a question? I saw a hand up. Mary Ann
Yes.
Pham.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. So from what I understood, the example of an egg, the external force, like when you crack an egg, so it become food, right? But the internal forces will make an egg become a chicken.
Yeah.
So right.
Yeah.
So if we let the external pressure, like peer pressure, when we were young, like we want to belong to a group, even though that group is crazy and make all kind of breaking all kind of laws, but we still want to join because of peer pressure. So we become a food for that group, right? So yeah. So and then if I want to transform to become a real person, a person I want to become, then I have to force myself to break through these barriers. Correct?
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
All
Yeah,
right, sir. Thank you.
appreciate that. Okay, so does that help? Other participant in the Zoom when Mary Ann shared that. Does that help you guys? That's a great way of studying and learning. Okay, sharing your understanding and repeating it in your own words. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Okay, all right. So let's move on.
Frank, Miss Luan want to back to the last picture to capture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to capture that? I can scan some of these stuff and give it to you guys later. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So this journey, in order to make the best of this journey, this course with a roadmap, it is important that I begin with this picture. So go ahead and draw along with me this picture. Okay. This is a picture of a boat. Okay, so we're going to draw a picture of a boat. A Vietnamese boat. Since this material has been handed down to us from a lot of wise people in Vietnam. So we're going to draw a Vietnamese boat. The person is wearing a Vietnamese conical hat. Okay. And this boat is floating on a river with a current. Okay, I'm going to draw lots of sort of fast current. Boat on a current. All right. Now this boat is on a current. This current happens to have a direction of flow. Okay, so this is a current. Okay. And this current happens to go from A to B. Now, just with this picture, can you imagine that if you just let the boat flow along with the current, it'll go from A to B easily, right? If you just let the boat go with the current, you can go from A to B pretty easily. If you have a person and the person is guiding the boat, making sure that it's going with the current, maybe adding a little bit of effort, then the boat will go from A to B pretty surely, right? And better yet, if you were to attach a motor to this boat, boy, with a guide, with a person rowing and an engine, a motor, then you can imagine the boat go from A to B very, very fast. Of course, there's also another scenario. So the first scenario is you go with the current. Okay, I'm going to say with the current. There's another scenario. Is you go against and against the flow. So can you imagine if the boat wants to go against the current, what do you have to do? If you do nothing, then the boat's gonna go not where you want. It's gonna go, right? If you go against the current and you do nothing, then you're not gonna get where you want. If you go against the current and you put in effort, you guide it, you paddle, you put in effort, then yeah, maybe you can go against the current and still get where you want. If you commit a motor and engine resources to the boat to go against the current, you might still get where you want. But you notice that if you go against the current, you have to pay the price. Right? Going against the current, you have to pay the price with your effort. You have to pay the price with the resources of the motor. You have to pay the price with suffering. So this picture, the boat, it represents our life. Okay, the boat represents our life. You notice, think about, the past and the things that happen in your life. Has there been a time where you put a lot of effort in rowing the boat, commit a lot of resources in trying to achieve something, and maybe you achieved it, maybe you didn't. Either you achieved it or you didn't, you realize that you had to pay a price, either in a lot of effort, a lot of time, maybe even with pain and losses. Right? So if you go against the current, you can sometimes go against the current and get what you want, but you have to pay the price with pain and losses. Time, effort, money. Now, if you were to go with the current, then not only can you get where you want, but you can get there very fast. So if the boat represents our life, then what does a current represent? It turns out that the current represents universal principle and natural laws. Okay, universal principles and natural laws. It turns out that there are universal principles and natural laws that direct our lives. If we follow the universal principles and natural law, we can get what we want in life very easily, very quickly. if we go against universal principles and natural law, we might get what we want, but we have to pay the price with time, effort, money, and sometimes pain and losses. Just like, human law, right? If you obey the law, if you drive a car down the street and you obey the traffic law, then you can go easily from your home to your work with no problem. But if you go, let's say, against the flow of traffic, okay, that is human law. You drive against the flow of traffic, you get oncoming traffic. It's difficult, and you may even get fined by the police. You pay the price for going against the law, breaking the law. And it turns out universal principles and natural laws are something that you can't break. You can't break it. You can try to go against it and pay the price, but you cannot escape it. Okay, so if we go along with the universal principles and natural laws, then life becomes pretty easy. And what we want, the thing that we desire, comes to us pretty easily. But if we go against it, then we will experience usually pain and losses, or we will experience the things that are undesirable. Right? It's kind of like driving down the street in the wrong direction. You will get a ticket, a fine from the police. That is an undesirable result. Okay. Antayan, you have a question. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you, Frank. I have a question on this. So, in our real life, so how do we realize that we are going with the current? Are we and going along against the current?
Okay.
It is not easy in our real life. Sometimes we feel frustrated with something we are doing, but it doesn't mean that we go against the current.
Okay.
It's good question.
Yeah.
Good question. Good question.
Thank you,
Okay.
Ante. It's good question.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful question. How do we know when we're going against the current? And it turns out it's actually very, very simple. If you are getting what you want without pain and suffering, then you are going with the current. Okay? If you are getting what you want without pain and suffering, then you are going with the current. If you're experiencing something undesirable, or if you're receiving an undesirable result, if you expend a lot of resources, a lot of time, and you're getting undesirable result, then guess what? You're going against the current. You are going against universal principles and natural laws. Okay, let me repeat that. It's very simple. If life is easy, if you're getting what you want without pain and suffering, without losses, then you are going with the flow of universal principles and natural laws. But if the result you're getting is undesirable, if you have to pay the price with pain and suffering and losses, loss of time, loss of money, sometimes people loss of health, loss of relationship, loss of body parts. If you're driving down the street on the wrong side of traffic, you're probably going to lose body parts too. Okay, then you are going against universal principles and natural laws.
Frank, so let's get an example that is, so if we want to get a beautiful body, like we go to the gym and then we do some exercise there and we feel very painful after that, but it's good, right? It's good. It's not taking any bad effect to your body. So this means that if you want to get something, that you have to suffer from the pain.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's like,
There is an idea that a lot of people there is an idea that especially in the West, there's an idea: no pain, no gain. Especially gym people, who go to the gym. They say that you have to pay the price of pain in order to gain the muscle, right? You go to the gym, you experience pain, and after a while, your body getting stronger and a bigger muscle. Guess what? You can go against the current, remember? You can get what you want. You can go against the current. You can go against the current and you get what you want by paying the price, if that's what you want. So gym people have been teaching you to pay the price. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do that, go ahead. Okay. If you want to do that,
it means
go
that
ahead.
sometimes when you
Let me
feel
tell you-
pain, it means you go against the current,
Right. So
and then you have to pay the price.
yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about exercising. When you feel the pain, it is your body actually telling you that you are injuring yourself. Okay. When you do exercises and you feel pain, the tiny little cells in the muscles of your body is actually tearing. It is actually breaking apart. And your body is telling you there is damage being done to your muscle. What does your body do when your muscle is broken? It heals. It tries to rebuild it. And it rebuild it by creating scar tissue. I have a scar. I don't know if you can see this. You see that scar? So my body broke. The body healed. It builds scar tissue. But this scar tissue does not contribute to the muscle. The muscle that moves your body, that's the muscle. The scar tissue inside when you people, the thing right here, people get bigger arm, partly in part because the muscle does grow. But when they do it to a point where they experience pain and there are tiny little tear inside the muscle, those are scar tissue. And after a while, yeah, you get nice and big, but those scar tissue does not contribute to strength. Okay, the scar tissue that contribute to your muscle looking big, you get the look of it big, it does not contribute to those muscle becoming stronger. They just get bigger and heavier. Okay, in the weight training, you will learn that strength comes not from muscle, but comes from energy. Okay, if you practice the body transformation exercises, the 12 Thái Gần Đổi Cốt step, you will learn that it is energy and pressure that will actually cause your body to become stronger, not muscle mass. Okay, so yeah, if you want, you can gain muscle mass, but you do have to pay the price for it. And then you pay the price getting bigger muscle, and that means you're walking around all day spending more energy just lugging around those muscle mass.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So that's a good question. So
So
here,
it means that in real life, sometimes we go against the current. It doesn't mean that it's bad, right? Sometimes it is good.
if you think that going against the current is good, then that's your call. Okay. Here, I'm teaching you how to go with the current. So let's stick with the program and see if we can discover some way to become stronger without having to pay the price with pain, right?
Thank you, Frank.
But ultimately, when you go to the gym, what for? Ultimately, you go to the gym so that you can be healthier and stronger, right? Healthier and stronger. Would it be better if you can become healthier and stronger without experiencing pain? How about that? Okay, so let's see if we can do that. Okay. Yeah, okay. Great question. I love that one. Okay, so where were we? Okay. Universal principles and natural laws. Okay, going with the current. So let's take another look at, the people around you, your friends, your family, your coworker, right? How many of those people do you know that are actually experiencing the life that they want and they have it easy? Statistically speaking, right, out of 100 person that you know, how many of them are actually enjoying health and happiness without having to suffer for it? How many people do you think out of 100 people, statistically, how many people do you think are actually enjoying health and happiness without having to pay the price? Does anybody have an idea, a guess? What do you think? How many people in society actually know how to become rich, to become healthy, to become happy, and not suffer for it? Very little, right? Marianne says 0%. I'm going to venture to say at least maybe 2%. Okay, maybe 1 or 2%. Because there are people out there who seem to go through life and they do and seem to enjoy it. Okay, you ask them and you say, they don't really have any trouble. They live long life and they don't really have to work for it. Okay, so if you can grasp the secret to being happy and healthy and rich without having to pay the nasty price of pain and suffering, would it be worth spending your time? Right, 21 session, would it be worth spending 60 hours of your time? Okay, so let's see if we can, let me go to check. Okay, let's see if we can okay, next step. Okay, so we have established that it's a good idea to go with the universal principles and natural laws. Okay, and so we're gonna see if we can discover what are some of those universal principles and natural laws that are operating our lives. Okay, but before I go in depth what it is, I want to establish a certain perspective. Okay, most of us, we go through life and we have a way of looking at life, right? The way we see, the way we judge, the way we analyze things, that is called our perspective. Human being, we have perspective. And different people have different perspective, different system of thought, different way of looking at things. It turns out that these perspectives can be simplified and categorized into 3 categories. Some people tend to look at life through the perspective of science. Other people tend to be religion or spirituality. And other people simply just a more philosophic philosophy. Okay, I can say morality. They don't really have a religion. They're not really interested in science, but they have a certain sense of the world. Okay, so our perspective, we tend to fall into scientific or religion and spirituality and philosophy in trying to explain how the world works. When it comes to health, some people go straight to the science. Other people refer to religion and spirituality when they think about their health. Other people just kind of philosophical or moral about it. Same thing with their relationship. Some people go straight to the science of psychology in explaining their relationship. Other people sees a relationship in terms of a religious view. Okay, and other people are just kind of philosophical about it. keeping in mind these three perspectives, we are going to talk about a natural law called causality. Okay, so early on we say if we want the kind of life that we want and not have to pay the nasty price of it, we have to understand one of those principles in natural law, and it is called causality. Okay, causality can be broken down to, defined by cause and effect. Right? I think we all can agree that for every cause, there's an effect. That is the definition of causality. Okay, and causality, it turns out, let me write that again, this time in causality. Causality, turns out, also dictate our perspectives in life. It dictates the physical world. Causality dictates our religion, religion and spirituality. And importantly, we are going to focus on causality of the human experience. Okay, let me go into details on what that means. Causality of the physical world. Okay, physical stuff. Let's take, for example, the idea of a fruit. Let's say you want to eat a mango fruit. Okay, some people's favorite fruit is a mango fruit. And it turns out that you want to eat a mango fruit that you have grown for yourself. My mom has a garden, an orchard. She has a mango tree. She has a guava tree. Okay, so in the physical world, if we want to eat a fruit that we have grown ourselves, all we got to do is ask, what kind of seed do I need to plant? What kind of a seed do I need to plant in order to get the fruit that I want? If you want to build a house, architect and engineer, you want to build a house in the physical world, you would ask, okay, what kind of design blueprint do I need to come up with? What kind of material do I need to have in order to build a house? What kind of internal decoration? What kind of furniture do I need to put into the house? That's a physical world. All right. The science world. Let's say human beings want to go to Mars. I will fly to another planet. If we want to land on Mars, then what kind of seed do we need to plant in order to achieve the effect of being on a Mars? People who cook food are very good at managing causality of the physical world, right? If your final effect or your final outcome is dinner, a certain dinner, then you would be able to manage the ingredient. You would know what to buy for the raw material, how to cook it, how long to cook it, how much the portion are, the ingredient and the recipe, so that at the end you would get the food that you want. Yeah. So human beings were very good at managing causality of the physical stuff, physical world. All right. If you want to design a car, if you have a picture of what mental image of what your car looked like, you would know how to go about making a car. We can even move mountains. Okay. We're very good at managing the causality of the physical world. Religion and spirituality also operates on causality. If you want to go to heaven, what do you need to do? Religion will tell you. The Christian will tell you how to go to heaven. what you need to do, how to live in such a way that when you die, you go to heaven. If you're a Buddhist and you want to achieve the state of nirvana or achieve the state of total enlightenment, the Buddha means the enlightened one, the awakened one, then what do you need to do? Right? The religion is pretty good at teaching us and guiding us on how to operate and manage causality in terms of spirituality. Where does a soul come from? If we believe there's a soul, where does the soul come from? Where does it go when this body falls apart? Religion is pretty good at helping us manage the causality of our spirituality, right? When it comes to human experience, on the other hand, it's kind of interesting. If I asked you about happiness, is happiness a human experience? Right? Happiness is an experience. What about health? What about harmonious marriage relationship? Those would be human experience. Yet, if you know the final effect or final outcome is a happiness or a harmonious marriage, do we know how to manage the causality? What kind of cause will contribute to giving you the outcome of a happiness or a harmonious marriage? So let's kind of look around. Let's take marriage, okay? Let's take a marriage and look at the people around you, okay? Everybody try to operate causality when it comes to marriage. We all, the people who get married want a happy, lasting marriage. Yet, statistically speaking, 50% of every marriage in the United States ends up in divorce. 50-50. 1 out of every 2 marriage end up in divorce. So what does it say about our human beings' ability to manage causality when it comes to human experience? Most people want to be healthy. That is the outcome. What kind of cause do we need? So you look around, you wonder, oh, gee, do we really know how to operate causality when it comes to human experience? Right? So with human experience, let's take a little closer look. Okay, so this is we're gonna talk about causality of human experience. There's a reason why most people sort of miss out on the causality of human experience. While we are very good at managing the causality of the physical world, even the spiritual world, which most people know what to do, they understand what it means. But when it comes to the human experience, we seem to be short. And that is because there is an aspect that we haven't paid attention to. So the cause, right? Causality. So we have a cause. We have the outcome. I'm going to use the outcome instead of the word effect, okay? Outcome. Now the cause, I'm going to use the picture image of a seed, right? We plant a seed like the mango seed. The outcome is the fruit, right? If marriage is the outcome, we can call it marriage is a fruit. With the human experience, there is an aspect of the condition okay, that we need to manage. And most people are forgetting this aspect. And that is why they cause and they try to go straight to the outcome, missing bypassing the condition, and so they don't get what they really want. And the condition in this analogy is the affinity with people, your relationship with people. The word affinity meaning your positive relation with people. people, when you have a good positive affinity, you have a good relation with people. You have a good attraction with people. Okay, the word affinity is something that we need to learn. We plant the seed, we need a good affinity with people so that we can get the favorable fruit. Okay, so there's a formula, right? There's a formula. Let's use this one. There's a formula. Good seed, okay, plus favorable affinity equal desired outcome. Okay, that's a formula. You need a good seed. You need to have a good cause deep inside each of us, deep inside our inner being. We need to plant those seeds in a good condition, which is your favorable affinity, your relationship with people, so that we are going to be able to get a desired outcome or the fruit of the seed. Okay, that is a very important formula that I'm going to circle. And in this 21 days, we said this is a course to raise the level of awareness of our inner being. It is also a course to master the formula of good seed plus favorable affinity equal desired outcome. Okay, it is also a course to master the formula or the recipe, good seed plus favorable affinity equal desired outcome. And how do you know when you get the outcome, desired outcome? That you are going with or against the universal principles and natural law? How do you know your desired outcome has been achieved as a result of you going with or against the universal principles and natural law? Can anybody answer that?
Without paying the price.
There you go. Without extreme pain and suffering. Okay, without paying the price. All right. Great student, Antayan. Okay. Okay, now that we get that, anybody question before we move on? Okay. Good seed, favorable affinity, and equals desired outcome. Okay. Let's see. I want to share a little bit of my own personal reality. Yeah, do you want to ask a question before?
Yes, I still considering that the meaning between human experience and physical world. Is that physical world is a kind of outcome too? Or like
Yeah. I mean, as I said before, let's say you want to build a house. Okay, that's a physical stuff. And an engineer or an architect want to build a house. It's easy for an engineer to come up with design, to come up with the material, to construct and build a house. Okay, if we want to eat the fruit that is a mango, it is easy for us to buy the mango fruit. That's a physical stuff, right? We know that we have to buy the mango fruit. If we plant a different kind of seed, and we're not gonna get the mango fruit. It's a physical stuff. All right, physical material stuff. We know how to manage that. It's easy to get the fruit of a mango as long as you plant the seed of a mango. It's very simple. There's nothing vague about it. Even complicated things like going to another planet. Elon Musk has been able to plant, send a spaceship onto the outer space. NASA has been able to send robots to Mars. even complicated things that are millions of miles away, we as human beings are pretty good at managing the causality of those physical stuff. But when it comes to human experience, I'm talking about happiness. When we experience happiness. I'm talking about health. I'm talking about harmonious relationship. Even things like finance, to become financially independent or to become wealthy. Those are experiences, human experiences.
So
And
human experiences relate more about the feelings and emotions.
it's a combination of what we experience. You know, we experience in terms of feelings. We experience life in terms of our awareness, our thought process. Okay. When you look back and somebody asks, when you go on vacation, and somebody asks you, okay, how was your experience? Your experience is a combination of your feelings, a combination of the things that happened to you, the things that you've done. So it's a little bit more complicated than the physical stuff, like, you know, planting a tree. Okay. And this, and because of the complexity, because there's this affinity aspect, makes it complicated, most people have not been able to take a full control of the causality of the human experience. And so in this 21-day session, what we're going to try to do is to simplify it, to make it simple for us to understand what human experience is, and then to take ownership of it, to control it. All right, so that ultimately we can get the desired outcome. Happiness, peace, health. Does that make a little better sense?
Yes, that's much easier. Thank you so much.
Yeah?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I appreciate your questioning. Does that help anybody else? Does that clarify for anybody else who may be wondering as well? So everything we're going to talk about is we're going to focus on human experience, okay? We're not going to worry so much about the physical world. We will borrow some ideas from the scientific perspective. We will borrow some idea from the religious and spirituality perspective, but all of that is meant to shine a light on the human experience. Okay, so that ultimately we can achieve health, happiness, peace, things like that. Okay.
Okay, Phan, the affinity mean cái gì ở trong tiếng Việt có phải là nhân quả không?
The Vietnamese word for affinity is duyên. The Vietnamese word for cause or seed is nhân. The Vietnamese word for affinity is duyên, nhân duyên, nhân quả.
Nhân duyên, okay.
Okay. Causality, cause and effect in Vietnamese is nhân quả. Cause and affinity is nhân duyên. Okay, so we're going to try to manage the kind of seed that will bring about a positive or favorable affinity so that we can ultimately get to a desirable outcome. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Give it a question. All right. So, okay, so let's jump right into, so I was going to say a little bit about my own experience. About a year ago, I was still living, you know what? I will save that for after this next sharing. Okay, my personal experience, I will save that for after this next principle. Okay, let's jump in. I'm going to share with you guys something called the principle of light. So earlier on, we already agreed that if we can learn to go with the flow, if we can learn to obey the universal principles and natural laws, then we will experience the kind of life that we want without having to pay the price of pain and suffering. Okay, so one of those principles is called the principle of light. And this principle of light is going to be the foundation of everything that we do. Okay, so it's very important. With this, we're going to start And you can draw with me. Let's draw this little box. And we're going to label that dark room. Okay, so we have a dark room. Outside of that is light. Okay, so outside of the dark room is light. Okay, now when it comes to light and darkness, there's this opposing duality. So I think everybody can agree. Can you agree that wherever there is light, there's no darkness? And wherever there is darkness, no light. That's just a duality, right? Two faces of the same thing, and they always go together. Wherever there is light, no darkness. Wherever there is darkness, no light. Right? That's just something that is part of our world. Now, the question is, what's the easiest way to light up the room? Does anybody have an idea? What's the easiest way to light up the room?
Nó là chợ bàn cờ, nó giống như cái bàn cờ, nhưng giọng hỏi không biết từ sinh ra.
Okay, so if we have a dark room and we want to brighten up the room, what's the easiest way?
Bring the light in to the room.
Bring the light in. How? How do you bring the light in? Turn on the switch. Okay. Turn on the switch. Okay. Flip the switch, light a candle, light a match, open the window and let the sun in. And do you notice that the instant that you turn on the switch, or the instant that you flip a match or open the window, light comes flooding in instantly, even if it's just a little bit. It's an instant happening. The easiest way and the fastest way to light up the room is simply to bring in the light. Okay? Bring in light. Okay, even a 3-year-old know how to do that. My son, when he's 3-year-old, when he barely reached the little switch, he knows how to turn on the light and bring in the light into the dark room. Now, in principle, as I mentioned before, light and dark has this duality. Wherever there's light, there's no darkness. Wherever there's darkness, not enough light. In theory, you can kind of imagine that if you somehow, in theory, somehow you can remove the darkness, then the room would brighten up. In theory. But in reality, that's not doable, right? We can't remove the darkness from the room and expect the light to the room to brighten up. We only, as human beings, we only know how to bring in the light into the room. Okay, we only know how to bring the light into the room. Before we talk more about that, let's take a look at our life. Okay, so let me draw this little picture, this little house here. Let's take a look at our life. This house represents, our life. Okay. Our life, we may think it's complicated, but really, there is really only 4 areas of life that we need to worry about. One is our inner being. Another aspect is our health. Another aspect is our relationship. And then there's another major aspect of life that finance. So take a moment, take a look at your life. Right? We may think there are many problems in life, but if you take a moment and we simplify it, the sages have taught us that if you just take a moment and simplify your life, then all problems of life can be categorized into one of these 4 areas. Your inner being is the stuff that goes inside you, right? The intangible stuff, your attitude, your character, your mental health. If your inner being is, let's say, if you're depressed, okay, if you're mentally depressed, your inner being, which is if you're mentally depressed, it will affect your health, your physical health, right? If your inner being is, let's say you are a person of poor character, that you are pessimistic, right? You're sad all the time. It will affect your relationship with people. Who wants to be around sad people all the time? If your inner being is in trouble, it's gonna affect your finance, right? A person who is happy, who is positive, who is optimistic, is gonna be more likely be able to make money. A person who is pessimistic is not going to be able to make a lot of money. So your inner being affects your finance, it affects your relationship with people, and it affects your physical health. Does everybody get that so far? Think about all the problems in life. They can be categorized. If at any moment now you are suffering something, you take a moment, okay, if I'm suffering in terms of health, if I have poor health, is something going on inside me mentally? If you're suffering from poor health, you can ask, is something going on with my relationship? How about my finance? In fact, if you are sick and you have to spend money, that means your finance has just gone down, right? If you're sick and you spend money to get well, then you have just affected your finance. But if you're healthy, then you can go and make money, do business, right? Go to work, make more money. So your health affects your finance. Your finance also affects your health. Let's say you suddenly find yourself in debt. You just suddenly file bankruptcy. Somebody called in the debt and you had to file bankruptcy. Immediately, you're going to start to stress out your inner being, right? Your finance now has just affected your inner being. You're going to stress out. Your mental health is going to stress out. And before long, that's going to affect your physical health. Right? And if you, let's say you have a lot of friends and suddenly your finance is in trouble, now you have to start borrowing from friends and you can't spend money to go out with friends anymore, you're going to start to lose friends. Your relationship is going to be affected if your finance is affected. Right? And vice versa, a person who has a wonderful relationship, has a lot of friends, a lot of network, then he or she can make a lot of money. Do rich people have a lot of networking friends? Do you notice that? Right? Rich people have a lot of friends. Or somebody who's not rich but suddenly come into an inheritance. You suddenly have an uncle or a parent who just bequeathed to you an inheritance, millions of dollars that you didn't know, and suddenly you have a lot of money, and then a friend would suddenly come to you. Right? You can, with money, you can gather people to you. Okay. So your finance and your relationship is affected. Your finance and your inner being is affected. Your finance and your health is affected. Your health and your relationship is affected as well. A person who is healthy and happy, you have time to go and spend time with your friends, get married. If you're sick, nobody want to be around you. So your health, it's going to affect your relationship. And a person who has great relationship is going to have great health. A person who is happy in the inner being is going to be a person who has great health, great relationship, and great finance. Okay? Your inner being affects your relationship. People with a personality disorder, yeah, that's going to affect the relationship. And vice versa. If you are married and suddenly you get divorced, ooh, half your inheritance, just half your finance just gone down, right? And your inner being is going to come down too. You're not going to be very happy. So you see, life, pretty simple. It just so happens that the interplay between these four areas in varying degree makes it look complicated. But if you recognize that life is just four areas, then you think that it's more easily manageable. Your inner being the foundation of this house. If you go to work on your inner being, work on your mental health, work on your wisdom, work on your character, your integrity, then your health, your relationship, and your finance will go up. Okay? So let me go back to this dark room and the idea of removing darkness. Earlier, we said that the best way to bring in light into the room is to bring the light into the room, to turn on the switch. Yet, most of us, if we take the dark room to represent the problems of life, right? If you are living in darkness in terms of your inner health, if you're living in darkness in terms of your health, if you are living in darkness in terms of your relationship or darkness in your finance, then the darkness represents the problems of your life. Taking ownership of these four areas will be the bringing in the light into the room. But the problem is we don't, when it comes to our four areas of life, we don't always try to bring in the light. What we try to do all the time is to remove the darkness. And how do we do that? We try to solve the problem. We focus on the problem. Okay, let's take it for a moment. Let's say we get sick. What do we do when we get sick? What do we do when we get sick? Can somebody? When we get sick, what do we do?
Go to the doctor, see a doctor.
Yeah, we go to the doctor. We take medication. We try to solve the problem.
Take a medicine. Take a
Take
rest.
medicine, which is fine. That's what we do all the time. I do that too. In fact, in my own experience, about a year before last year when I started studying this material, every year I would get sick. I would get a cold, coughing and sneezing and then cold, and I would take medication. And I would be able to solve that sickness for that time. I remove the darkness, but it's not permanent. Next year, I will catch another cold. And I would take a medication again. In fact, there were years where I would be sick 3 or 4 times. Each time I would cough for 3 months long. And I would take the cough medication, which all it does is just suppress the cough. It removes the cough, but it actually make me healthier. I would get sick again. So for many, many years of my life, I was sick. I would take medication to remove the sickness, take medication to remove the sickness, but I never actually became healthier. Okay, so consider this statement. A healthy person is a person who is not sick, right? A healthy person is a person who is not sick. But the person who is not sick is not necessarily healthy. Did you guys get that? A
Mhm.
healthy person is not sick. But a person who is not sick is not necessarily healthy.
Mhm.
Because
So
can
for
be
many,
half healthy.
yeah,
Disease.
yeah. And so for many years of my life, I was sick and I would just take medication and it removed the darkness temporarily. And the sickness came back because I did not bring the light into the room. When it comes to your health, bringing the light into the room equates to becoming healthy. Okay, becoming healthy is a totally different thing than removing the sickness. Okay, so it's the same thing with your relationship. Some people experience trouble with the relationship and they try to fix the relationship, either by trying to fix the other person or you get divorced and get a different relationship. They change relationship. That's like trying to remove the darkness. And because they have not learned how to bring light into the relationship, they end up experiencing same darkness again in terms of relationship. Do you have any friends who go from relationship to another relationship to another relationship? Or know people who divorce and get married and they get divorced and remarried and they never quite learned.
Mhm.
They never knew what the definition of a happy, healthy, harmonious marriage is. All they know is how to change partner. So in this 21-day process, we're going to learn what it means to have a happy, harmonious, and healthy marriage. Okay. Same thing with the finance. It's great when you are in debt. Many people would try to remove the debt by what? What's the fastest way to remove one debt? If you owe somebody a money, what's the fastest way to get money to pay that person back?
Get a second job. Work
Get a
2 or 3
second job.
jobs.
Or you borrow from a friend, you borrow from another friend to pay the first friend.
Yeah.
You're still in
Yes.
debt. Right? Credit card, okay? Credit card is a big deal. People max out their credit card, and in order to pay that credit card, they just open a new credit card to pay that credit card. They are still in debt until they learn what it means to bringing light into the rooms in terms of finance. They have to learn to operate the causality of finance, what kind of seed they need to plant, what kind of condition, so that they can actually achieve the outcome of a good finance. Okay, so human beings, we make the mistake of trying to remove the darkness by trying to solve the problem. We keep on focusing on the problem. But here's the thing, there's a beauty about the principle of light, is that even if darkness had existed in this room for 1,000 years, even if the problem had been in your life for 1,000 years, the instant you bring light into the room, darkness goes away. Okay, let's see, right? Let's see if you can actually get that. Some of you here may be living in darkness in terms of your inner being, your health, your relationship, and your finance. That darkness may have been in your life for many years. But the principle of light also says that the instant you learn to bring light into the room, darkness has to go away. Okay, it is that powerful. As long as you don't try to remove the darkness. We get stuck. We're always focusing on the problem. We keep on trying to remove the darkness. And so we never actually experience the light. But you have to learn how to bring in the light and know. For now, some of you have experienced it. If you don't experience it yet, just take it on faith for now that the moment you turn on the light, the darkness necessarily goes away. It isn't completely go out of existence. It's there. It's just been covered up by light. And the moment that you lose the light, darkness comes back. Okay. So how do I, let me see. Okay, so this house, let me see. Let's say, consider this house. Let me draw it again. Okay, let me draw again. Okay, so this house, I'm gonna draw it bigger this time. A little bigger. On the bottom, the foundation of your house is still your inner being. Why do I use the word being? Because we are human being. Okay. On the left side is still our health. The right side is our relationship. Okay, on the top is still our finance. Okay. Imagine this. Our inner being is the foundation. These two walls represent our health and our relationship with people. The top is our finance. Let's use green for money. There you go. Do you know anybody in your life, your friend, your coworker, who spends a lot of time building their finance at the expense of their health? The
Yeah, a
moment
lot.
health goes down, the finance go down. You had just spent money to fix your health. Right?
Yep.
How about people spending time working and making a lot of money, millions of dollars, but they didn't take care of their relationship, the spouse, for example, and they get divorced, then half the finance goes away. Right? And then how about people who spend a lot of money working on their finance, building a lot of money, and the inner being is in trouble. They get a nervous breakdown. They lose everything. They lose their health, they lose relationship, they lose their finance. Ji Tui Chang said, that's me. I used to live in the dark room for many years. That was me focusing on building the finance, but I got nothing in return. Okay. Maybe you are going against the principles and natural laws. We'll discover how to go with the flow. Okay, in this this course. I appreciate you sharing, Ji Tui Chang. So, yeah, our inner being. Now, so here's a question, right? So how do we bring in light into the room? Now, we talked about bringing light into the room. So I'm going to draw inside our house a bunch of rooms. Okay, now you can draw this with me. It's going to be a hexagon in the middle and a bunch of compartments like this, different rooms. On the bottom, you're going to label it wisdom. Okay. On the left, attitude. Okay. On the right, bottom right, you're going to write the word character. It's a little longer word. Character. Oh, good. I fit. Okay. Character. In the middle is the word integrity. Chị Thùy Trang, make sure that the picture you're posting matches the words that I'm using, okay? because
Yeah, that's
we're
what
still in the process.
I get from your lesson.
Great,
Yeah,
thank you, thank you.
on the class.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And on the left, upper left, this is our physique, which is a short for our physical health. Okay, physical health. On the upper right is our capability. And on the top is our material possession. And we bring the light into this room. And let's use this pretty color by lighting up a bunch of candles in our nice little house. We're going to bring in light into our house by lighting up the candle of wisdom. We're going to light the candle of attitude. We're going to brighten up our character. We're going to work on our integrity, our physique, which is our physical strength and beauty, our capability, also known as our power, and obviously our material possession. Okay? This is how we're going to bring light into the room. Instead of solving the problem, forget all the problem. We're going to brighten up this house by working on our wisdom, our attitude, our character, our integrity, capability, physique, and our material possession. Okay, and this 7 candle, it's called, this house is going to I'm going to call this house the house of holistic wealth.
I can't see the bottom. Can you zoom it smaller?
What happened?
Zoom in.
I think everything is fine. Do you have a problem seeing the screen?
Yeah, I just see the top, not the bottom. I see material physics, material capability.
Does anybody else have a
okay.
problem with that? I think my
No.
camera is fine.
Yeah,
You may
so
have
it's
to adjust.
fine. I
Please
see,
check
okay.
recheck your side because I can see the whole of the picture.
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
You
you
may have
are
to-
zoom your screen.
yeah.
So in your screen, you may have to drag it left or right or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'm
Oh, okay.
here on this side. Okay.
Okay, I get it.
This house is
Thank
called a house of holistic wealth. Or if you like, house of holistic health. Okay. Holistic wealth. We're going to enrich our wisdom. We're going to enrich our attitude, enrich our character, enrich our integrity, enrich our physique, enrich our capability, and enrich our material possession. Holistic health, we are going to become healthy in mind and spirit, our inner being. We're going to be healthy in physical body. We're going to have experience healthy relationship and healthy finance. Okay.
What
So
the
house of holistic wealth.
what the
holistic-
holistic wealth in Vietnamese? What the
Giàu toàn diện.
Yeah,
Holistic wealth is giàu toàn diện.
yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Sức khỏe toàn diện is holistic health.
Yeah. Wholesome.
Okay.
Wholesome.
Okay. So the word holistic means wholesome. Okay. Whole. Okay, this is a house of holistic wealth and house of holistic health.
Yes.
Depending on, I work in the medical field, so people are interested in health. I know business people who are interested in wealth. Either way, we're going to become rich. We're going to become healthy in this process. Okay, let's say, and which brings us to, I'm going to rewrite those 7 candles. So how to enrich your life? Okay, so let me ask you. Okay, so here is, let's do, here's a question. Okay, just how to enrich your life. Okay, another question following that. Who is a rich person? Think about it. Okay, so instead of solving life's problems, okay, there's 2 ideas. One is just go around and solve life's problem, which is removing the darkness from your room, or you enrich your life. Okay, let's say by 7 holistic aspect. So let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look at who is a rich person. Traditionally, when we think about a rich person, right, what do we see? Do they have a lot of material? Right, traditionally, material, a lot of money, big house, big cars. Richer people have big boats, airplane. Bill Gates even owns a submarine. Some people own a country, an island. Those are physical and material possession. So traditionally, we judge a rich person by the material possession. But at some point, that rich person may become sick. They can no longer enjoy the material possession. And so society begin to wonder, gee, is it really a rich person who is sick and not enjoy the material possession? Are they really rich? And so society begins to take a look at the value of the physical health, which here denoted by physique. Right, so when you look at celebrity, famous people out there, not only we admire their material possession, but we also admire their body. People who look good, who have strength, and rich, we tend to admire those people more than the people who just have money and no health. Right? So as society evolved, our awareness of what it means to be rich has just expanded to encompass not only the material, but the physical attribute as well. And then let's say a young person who look good, who have great health, who have a lot of material, right? They came into their rich from their parent. They inherit a lot of money from the parent and great look from the parent. But if they lack the capability to keep money and to make money, then you wonder if that person is going to be rich for very long. Right? So so our society's definition of a person's richness or their wealth has just expanded not only to include what they have in terms of what their material possession, but also the physical look, and now the ability to keep and make money. Because if they have great look and have a lot of money, and they squander it, and they don't know how to make more money, they don't know how to keep their health, and they're gonna be poor in finance and poor in health pretty soon, right? So society begins to place importance on the capability, the ability to make money, okay, to keep money. And then, even then, there are people who have a lot of money, who look great, who can make a lot of money and keep money, but if they have a terrible personality, they get on internet and they cause a scandal, right? You like scandal? Then people stop respecting them, stop admiring them. Their value as a person, as a rich person, is no longer, worth people looking at them. And so people begin to question their integrity. Okay? Their integrity as a person. And then they start to look at that person's character. Is it worth being rich if you have no integrity and character? And those same people who goes and cause a scandal, usually they have problem with their attitude. And ultimately, a rich person who looks good, has a capability, but causes a scandal, it's probably somebody who didn't work on their wisdom. So society, these days and age, we begin to judge a person of wealth not only on their material attribute, but we begin to judge a person based on their non-material attribute as well. Right? Can you see that? Non-material. These are the stuff that you can't touch with your hand. Integrity, character, attitude, wisdom. You can't touch that with your hand. So they're non-material. Okay, so, and these are the 7. These just also happen to be 7, okay, holistic wealth. So in this 21 day, we're going to try to enrich your life in all 7 areas, or in all 7 attributes. So let's start with the non-material attribute. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Let's talk about non-material attribute. How you raise, first of all, in the physical world, okay, in the physical world, there are things of values, right? Let's say you like to go shopping and you like to buy a purse. Okay, you like to buy a purse. A purse has a certain material value to it. If the purse is made of leather, then there's a cost of the leather, the value of the leather. It costs somebody to sew the purse together, the labor cost, right? They put it together. That is the material value of the purse. But the marketing world, the business world, is very smart. Instead of just selling the purse to you at the value of the production and the material, what they do is they try to elevate the value of the purse by, number one, limiting the number of purse, making it rare. So instead of making 1,000,000 purse, they just make 100 purse, 100 purses. So by making it rare, they can drive the price up, right? They do something else. If they hire a celebrity, a movie star, a beautiful model, and have that beautiful model and movie star wear the purse. And then they can promote the picture of the purse being worn by the celebrity. Then they can drive the value of the purse up. Right? What they have done is they have just infused non-material quality, non-material value to something of material. Right? If any of you doing business, you notice that if you just sell something of face value of the value of the production, it's not going to be much, but you find other ways, the intangible ways to raise the value. How about shoes? Okay. A pair of shoes costs a certain amount of money. But if the manufacturer were to hire a basketball player and have him wear the shoes, then they can sell those shoes at 10 times higher. How about things that decrease in value in terms of its material value? Let's say antique furniture, antique vases, old things, antique cars in the United States. If cars are 50 years old, they become a classic. So a car or a vase or a furniture, after the time, their actual physical quality would actually diminish. But the fact that it's old, the fact that it has passed through many different people, then the value of that item goes up. Take a look at your own, material possession. Some of you may have a watch, an old watch, or maybe a piece of clothing, a wedding dress. Over time, your watch decreases in material value, but the sentimental value goes up. Old paintings that have been painted hundreds of years ago. The longer it has been around, the higher the value goes up. Those are the non-material value. Okay, so do you understand so far? In the physical world, the marketing world, the business, they're very good at infusing non-material attribute into a material item. So I want you to write this down. The word non-material. Okay. On the bottom, you write the word material. I'm going to draw an arrow. And then write the word I-Z-E. Okay. I-Z-E. So in this 21-day process, what we're going to try to do is we will infuse non-material attribute into your person. We are going to non-materialize you. Just as the physical world, they are able to non-materialize the value of a material, we're going to non-materialize the value of you as a person. The physical world is very good at doing this already, right? All of us have spent money on things that we know is a lot more expensive than the actual value, the physical value. But we are happy to pay that price because we appreciate the non-material value. It is now time for us to learn to non-materialize it ourselves, to infuse non-material quality into our person, into our own being. Okay? Here's an example of how you can raise the non-material value of something. Let's say you like to cook food. Okay, you go to the supermarket, you buy some ingredient, you make the dinner, then the ingredient costs something, the amount of time that you spend costs something. That is the material value of that dinner. But if you, who is a parent or a spouse, and you like to cook dinner, and you know how to infuse non-material quality into your dinner, how? By doing a little bit more research into the, say, the origin of the ingredient. And when you serve the food, tell your family member a story about that ingredient. Share with them an experience of the cooking. Show them that you do it out of love. The same simple dinner, when you do it out of love and you express it in terms of a story, then you can infuse non-material value into your dinner, and you make your dinner as value go up. Do you guys get that? Another way that you infuse non-material value into your person. Let's say you are let's say you are applying for a job. You go to a job interview. You send in your resume, your application. In your resume or your application, you write down your skills, right? You have all the skills that you can perform at a job. But you notice that there are 1,000, 10,000 other applicants for the same job who have the same skill. A lot of us graduate from school having some kind of skill. There are hundreds, and if not thousands, other students who also graduated from school with the same set of skill. How are you going to compete against all the other person if all you have is the material value that is your skill, your capability? But if you, in your resume or when you interview, you can show the interviewer, your boss, your future boss, that you have non-material element of wisdom. If you have non-material element of a good attitude, if you have non-material quality of a wholesome character and a person of integrity, then do you think you have a better chance than the average applicant? Do you guys get that? The technical skills are the material stuff. It is the non-material stuff that will set you above and beyond other people. And so we're going to work on raising your attitude, raising your wisdom, raising your character and your intelligence and your integrity. Okay. In the United States, it's called soft skill. That's the hard skill, which is the technical stuff. Like I am a electrocardiogram technician. All I do is I just measure people's heart rate. 10,000 other technicians can do that. But in order for me to get higher above other people, then I have to show my wisdom, my attitude, my character, and my integrity. It's called soft skill, my people skill. Okay. So starting from now, you can learn not to let the world judge you on just your basic material and your physical capability. From now, you decide your own value. Okay, you decide your own value by raising your non-material attribute. Raising your wisdom, raising your attitude, right? Where are those? Right, raising your wisdom, your attitude, your character, your integrity. And if you notice, your wisdom, your attitude, and your character is connected to the foundation of your being. Before we work on the material, the capability, and physics, we work on these fundamental basics first. Can you agree that once you have raised your wisdom, your attitude, and your character, and your integrity, then it's going to be easier to go about enhancing your capability, your physique, and your material? Once you enhance your non-material attribute, then it's going to be easier and more stable and lasting, more sustainable than just working on the roof of your house. Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be easier. Okay, so this course on raising the level of your inner awareness is also a course on mastering the causality of the human experience. It is also the course on elevating the non-material value of your being. Wisdom, attitude, character, and integrity. Okay, so I'm very grateful that you have allowed yourself to take in the time to attend, this sharing. And I'm grateful to your friends and family and whoever that has introduced you and connect you to this this value. And non-material stuff. So we're going to work on your job. Okay, your job is going to infuse the non-material quality of your being. Okay, non-materialize yourself. My job is going to try to materialize the non-material attribute. Okay, so you're going to learn how to non-materialize yourself, raising the non-material attribute. My job is to try to materialize the non-material stuff. Okay, your wisdom, your attitude, your character, I'm going to package it into a lesson and I'm going to present it to you. It's going to be up to you to decide if you want to take it or not. Okay, how do you materialize the non-material attribute? How do you materialize wisdom, attitude, character, and integrity? How do you materialize those non-material stuff in such a way that you can give it to another person? That's my job. Okay, I'm going to try to package it and share it in such a way that you can, with step by step, remove your barriers, remove your self-limiting self-awareness, raise your wisdom, raise your attitude, raise your character, and raise your integrity. I'm going to do that in a form of this course. But ultimately, it's going to be your choice if you want to take that material. Okay. So one last thing before we end for today. In order to take what I'm, ready to share. Okay, come on. This is my son. So if you are ready to receive or take what I'm ready to share, then all you got to do is activate. Okay, all you got to do is activate your desire. Okay. Some of you may be here because you're just kind of curious. Okay, somebody, your family and friends invited you, so you're just kind of curious. But while you're here, I invite you to activate the desire to possess and become. Activate your desire to possess the knowledge, to become rich, happy, and healthy. All you need is desire. Okay. Activate the desire to become rich in the 7 holistic wealth. The desire to have more wisdom, the desire to have better attitude, desire to become a person of character and integrity. Okay. Then after the end of the 21 course, you will begin to materially possess it. You will actually feel it, you will experience it, you will know it, you will have it. And in order to do that, there is a formula. Okay, so, or recipe called lesson, impression, realization. This is last principle that I'm going to give you. It's called the principle of brain activation. Okay, because what I'm packaging to you is knowledge. Okay, I'm going to package knowledge in such a way that raise your level of awareness about yourself, about other people. And the best way that you can receive that package is to practice this principle of brain activation. Each time we have a session, you review it, ask yourself, what kind of lesson did I just learn today? Not just, not just what I told you, that what I told you is just the knowledge, but the lesson that you've gained from it. This lesson is something that is new to you. Okay, think about it and identify it. What's new to you that you just learned today? Your impression of it. Not all the new things that you learn is going to impress you. Not all the thing is applicable. So impression is something that you think that you are going to be able to apply or use. It had a blue, blick. Try that again. Applicable. Okay. An impression is something that is deeply applicable that, oh, wow, okay, I can definitely use that. And most importantly, if you can, you need to see if you can learn something, you can experience a new realization. A realization is an answer to long sought question. If you've been wondering about what it means to be happy, if you been wondering how to go about getting what you want in life, if you've been wondering why you have been experiencing undesirable circumstances despite all the effort or the pain, and if you're wondering, if your long sought question, if you have received an answer to that, then whoa, that's a new realization. Okay, so this is a format that we're going to take this course. I will try to share with you. I will try to walk you through step by step to raise your awareness. And then your responsibility, if you want to receive it, if you want to activate your desire to possess the knowledge and to become healthy and happy and rich, then you use this principle of brain activation by thinking and sharing it, what you learn, what's impressed you, what new realization. Okay, because the idea is that if you only pursue success in life, success in material possession, then you may or may not succeed. But if you pursue growth and maturity, then you will invariably succeed. So let me write that down, and you can write that down as well. Okay, that's it. Here's a thought that you can think. If you pursue if you only pursue success, you may or may not become successful. But if you pursue maturity or growth, then you will invariably, meaning guarantee, and you will invariably become successful. Okay. And this is the principle of causality. Mature and growth are the seed. Success is the outcome. If you're just going to focus on nothing but the outcome without working on the seed, then you're not going to be able, you may not, you may go against the current, you may experience that at great costs. But if you focus on maturity and growth, then you will invariably succeed. And you do that, by activating your brain. Okay, think about the lesson, think about your impression and your realization. Another saying is that a smart person will learn from their own mistake. Right? Most of us up to now, we learn from our own mistake. We suffer, we experience failure, we experience loss, and we learn from our mistake. However, it's not so much the mistake that causes to grow. It is the lesson. We learn, and it's the lesson that gives us a value, not the pain and the suffering. A smart person may learn from the mistake. A smarter person learn from other people's mistake. But here's the thing, the smartest person learns from the success of successful people. It is not the mistake that gives you the lesson. Some people make mistakes over and over and over again, and they don't learn anything. No growth, no maturity from those mistakes. It is the lesson. It is only when you learn the lesson. So in this course, instead of trying it out on your own and experiencing failure and mistakes and pain and suffering on your own, figuring it out, why not, out of love for yourself and your loved one, learn it from successful people? The material I'm presenting you has been compiled by the sages, by the successful people, wise people, rich people. You just learn from them and save your the trouble of failure and mistakes. Okay.
Hello, Frank. Can you rewrite that word? Then you will in something.
Invariably. Okay.
Yes. Invariable.
Very.
Thank you for your question. I have the same question. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I can't realize.
Yeah. Okay. Then you will invariably become successful. Okay.
Invariably.
Challenges that we have in life, once you have the lesson, once you learn this lesson, then you no longer have to solve the problems of life. You will learn to stand above the problems of life. Doesn't mean that your darkness is going to go away completely. It won't cease to exist. Your problem may still be there, but you will learn to stand above it. They will no longer become the chain that hold you back. Right? Remember that picture of the six barriers, right? The six barriers to growth, six barriers to maturity. Think of those barriers as six chain. Let's say you are a rocket that's trying to shoot up into space. You're a spaceship. You want to shoot up into space. You travel far distance, but there are six chain holding you back. Okay, the chain could be the self-limiting self-awareness. They could be the problems of life. But if you learn how to remove those six chains, then boom, the rocket is going to fly out into space very quickly and very fast. Okay, you're going to be able to experience the life that you want, a life of happiness and life of health, without being tied down by the problems of life. Okay. So I know there are some of you who are practicing to become a mentor with. Okay. I recommend that you review this material. This is 2.5 hours of a lot of material, right? Lots and lots and lots of material. I recommend that you review it and work on your sharing. You can write it down, type it down. Actually, right now, does anybody want to share anything, any lesson that they've learned right now? You can share it right now, or starting next week, I'm gonna try to start this the pre-session a little early, maybe 5:30 instead. I'm sorry, half an hour before the official start. 6 o'clock in the United States is when we officially start. I'll get into the Zoom by 5:30. 9 o'clock is when we officially start the lesson. 8:30 is when I'll try to start the Zoom in Vietnam. And that will be your chance to do some sharing on what you've learned, what you've impressed, what realization about today's material. Okay, that's sort of homework. Okay. I didn't think about that until today. Why not? If you're going to learn anyway, you're going to enjoy learning. This is a study. If you take this seriously, then do the homework. Write down the lesson, impression, and realization, and then you can share it next week. Those of you who are still trying to learn the English language, this is your chance to take the whole week to write it down. Use ChatGPT or use Google to translate if you need to. You can write it in Vietnamese and translate it and practice speaking the sharing. If you can speak the sharing in English to Google and Google can type it correctly, then you know you have pronounced it correctly. Okay. So you can practice by getting on Google and actually speaking and have Google listen to you and type. If it type what you say, then that means you have pronounced correctly. So this is your chance to practice English. But for now, yes, Chị Hoàng, did you wanted to say something? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you for giving me a chance to talk. I would like to share the new lesson for me today. Actually, there are so many new words that I learned from you. I just talked to my husband before about that can I call formula? Not formula. The good seed and favorable affinity will become desired outcome. So actually, affinity is a new word for me, and I'm not sure how to explain it. So I asked my husband, and then after that I have an answer. So I just give an example. I'm not sure it's right or wrong. So I just want to share now. For example, we talk about our marriage. So the good seed could be like we have good character, for example. We love each other, for example, like that. And the desired outcome is we have a happy marriage. We have 3 kids, and they always they are happy and we are happy family. So maybe the affinity could be like our parents who.
Oops, did we lose it? Okay. We will go into more details about the formula of causality. So if you have, when you come back, and just review the material, and I can answer that question. There are different ways of looking at it. Let's see. I'll use the other sheet of paper. So earlier on, we used the idea of
Sorry, my battery ran out.
Go ahead,
So
yeah.
I
Go
just
ahead, yeah.
changed. I just changed my device.
Okay.
So should I continue now, or you?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll just write it and then I will share it. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the affinity between us could be our parents who raised us, and maybe the experience we have in our life, and that something that maybe not match, maybe match. So and make us a chance to meet each other.
And everybody is very happy.
Thank you. Yes, so that's what I understand, like a little bit about this formula.
That's fine. I didn't explain it to you yet. So, if you can understand that without even me explaining it, that's good. Okay, you're a great student. So don't worry if you don't understand it. I didn't talk about it yet. Okay, I haven't talked about it yet officially. But
the baby is so cute. Your daughter is so cute.
Yeah.
The sun.
Good. Here, one of the things we're going to be focusing on, as I mentioned earlier, this is a course to raise your inner awareness. So good seed here would be our knowledge and awareness, okay? When you have an appropriate awareness about something, that's called a good seed in the context of this education. So we're going to focus on raising your awareness. Take, for example, the principle of light. Principle of light. Previously, most of us didn't understand that.
Cô ơi, cô.
For most of our lives, we try to remove the darkness from the room. But now you have learned the principle of light. You
Không
have a
có,
new
hồi nãy anh nói
awareness,
nhưng mà nó là cái này được không cô?
knowledge about what it means to brighten up the room in your life.
Cái đó thôi.
Instead of solving
Rồi bữa cô
problem,
về nữa, sáng nay
raise
bán hết rồi, chứ không phải là
your
không có. Nó nhiều màu tới cả
non-material.
cái màu.
Oops.
Màu đỏ đi tới Tết cô, Noel cô. Không bán rồi.
Okay. So an example of a new level of awareness is this, right? Previously, we try to solve problems. Now, instead of solving problem, we learn to bring in the light. We learn to raise our value, our non-material value. You have just, that is a new knowledge, that is a new awareness, right? If it becomes part of your awareness, then we have planted good seed. Okay, so that's my job, is to plant kind of seed to help you experience a new level of awareness about yourself and about life. Affinity is people, relationship, with people. Okay, we will work on transforming ourselves in such a way that we will attract favorable, positive people. We will learn to have the kind of awareness that will enable us to recognize and be appreciative of people. We will learn how to be at peace with people. We will learn how to be magnanimous with people. We will learn how to honor and be grateful for people. Okay, so when we learn how to be at peace with people, how to be generous and magnanimous with people, and how to honor and grateful to people, we raise our affinity with people. Affinity is the ability to attract. Okay, and with knowledge and wisdom, knowledge and wisdom and character and attitude, those are going to be the seed that's going to influence our positive relation with people, which is the affinity. The Vietnamese for affinity is duyên. Okay, duyên, which is our relation to people. With a favorable kind of knowledge, with good knowledge, with favorable condition, which is affinity with people, that's going to help us achieve the desired outcome. Okay, which is, health, happiness. Okay, good seed will be things like wisdom. If you plant wisdom, you're going to be able to deal with people more wisely. Right? There are different levels of wisdom. You can learn about attitude. A person of great attitude is going to attract people. Think about your relationship with your spouse, your children, your parent, your coworker. Are there anybody in your life right now whose relationship with you is not so positive? Maybe there's darkness in it. We're going to learn how to bring light into your relationship with people through wisdom, attitude, character, integrity. Okay. relationship with people. Okay, we will learn about energy vibration. Okay, we will learn about how to we'll get to it when we get to it. Okay. Does that clarify a little bit better about the idea of affinity? Okay, affinity is your ability to attract people. If you have negativity, that means you repel people. And if you repel people, then you lose opportunity to better your life, lose opportunity for finance, or lose opportunity for great health and happiness. Okay. Does that clarify your question?
Yes, thank you. I just wanna share new knowledge. So I know
Okay.
more and more.
Okay, great. Okay, so enjoy learning, right? Enjoy learning. Be at peace with yourself. Are you in the Mentor 6 program or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Okay, excellent.
The
Okay.
view. I'm waiting.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have any last question or sharing before we end for today? See if you guys can prepare the homework for next week, okay? Before we start, see if you can come up with another sharing. Okay. So once again, I'm very grateful. I am honored by your presence. It's a great learning experience for me. I'm like you, I'm just a student. But I've learned how to package the material and transmit it to you as a mentor with number 5, level 5, mentor with 5. Okay, so all I am is just somebody who's about 8 months ahead of you. My relationship with him has improved. His attitude has improved as a result of my learning. My relationship with my wife, with my mom, even my own physical health has improved.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. So, okay.
Thank you,
So I want
Frank.
to keep you
We
guys
appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for
Okay.
your time, for taking your time
You're very
to
welcome.
share a lot of good things for us.
Okay.
Nice fun.
See you next week.
Alrighty, take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
have a good night.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
Yeah, bye.